Welcome to the Self-Reliant Steward podcast. I'm your host, Damia. On this podcast, I will share stories, scriptures, words of the prophets, and research to help you, Latter-day Saint parents, teach your teens, and create a financial legacy of self-reliance. No more living paycheck to paycheck. No more going in and out of debt. Start today to change your family's life for the better by becoming a wise steward of what the Lord has blessed you with. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Self-Reliant Steward podcast. I'm your host, Damia. Today, we're going to start with a money trivia question, which I'll start with in every episode. And it is, how much scholarship money goes unclaimed each year? I'll give you 3 seconds to answer. You can pause it if you need more time to think. Close to $100 million. Isn't that crazy? And about $2 billion of student grants go unclaimed. That's just crazy. I would encourage all of you good teenagers to have them apply for scholarships and grants. Okay, now to jump into today's story and topic. I could feel my parents' stress, but I didn't always know what was going on. My parents were living paycheck to paycheck and went in and out of debt. I remember one January in particular when I was about 15. My mom worried about having enough groceries for the month. You see, Mom bought all our groceries at the beginning of the month, right after Dad got his monthly paycheck. Then we didn't have money the rest of the month to buy anything. January was worse because Dad got his January paycheck in the middle of December, which Mom promptly spent on Christmas presents for Dad, my older brother, me, and herself. So we ran out of grocery money before the end of the first week in January. Now, we had a small amount of dry goods stored, so we would not have starved, but we might not have enjoyed the options we had to choose from. Then my mom came home one day from her sister's house. She was beaming as she told me about her cousin driving up to the house with a truckload of tater tots. He was giving them to those in need. We got about a dozen bags, which we gratefully ate over the next several months. I know this blessing came because my parents paid their tithing. Malachi 3:10 says, quote, "Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. And prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it." End quote. My parents were in an exhausting cycle of spending all their income, using debt, getting out of debt, and then repeating. Seeing my parents struggle with debt, I realized I had to do something different to break the cycle. I became determined to never use debt, which pushed me to learn everything I could about money management and to earn money and save in order to graduate university debt-free. It was not an easy process. I did not have a mentor or anyone else I could learn from directly. I read every book and blog article I could get my hands on, but none of them were written for teenagers. I had to figure out how to adapt it to my situation. One year, I signed up to take a college personal finance course through concurrent enrollment. On the first day, the teacher taught about credit scores and how to build a good one. I was only 15 and planning to avoid debt like the plague. I didn't need to be learning about credit scores. Needless to say, I promptly dropped that course. I applied for college scholarships my senior year of high school and then learned that I could have applied 2 years sooner. Nobody told me. Having been homeschooled, I felt very limited in the scholarships that I could apply for, and unfortunately, I did not earn any. After my first semester of college on campus at BYU, Idaho, I moved back home and took online classes while looking for a job. With no previous work experience, it was hard. After almost a year, I was still jobless. I had more money going out than coming in. I remained out of debt, but still had more going out. I was grateful that my parents let me live with them during this time, but I really needed money for school. Eventually, I got a job as a nanny for about a year and was able to take online classes while working. After that job, I went back to school on campus. Between the money I had earned from nannying, scholarships I earned directly from BYU, Idaho, and then working a couple more semesters, I was able to graduate with a bachelor's degree, debt-free, with several $1,000s in the bank. Because my process for getting through college debt-free was such a struggle, with no one to guide me, I started my business to help teens learn how to manage their money wisely and be able to live a debt-free life full of abundance. If you're new here, my name is Damia Shimon. I'm a financial coach for teens, the founder of Harmony Living, and a BYU Idaho graduate. I live a debt-free life. I graduated university debt-free. I've started my business debt-free, and I will continue to live debt-free throughout my life. I am here to help you learn how to help your children live debt-free lives as wise stewards of what the Lord blesses them with. In Matthew 25:21, the Savior said, quote, His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. I want the Lord to say this to me when the day comes. I want to be a wise steward of what he gives me. The Lord wants us to be wise stewards of what he gives us, and he will readily help us to do so. The reality is that everything we have belongs to him already. We are to take care of it for him. Having this mindset will help us to become wise stewards and develop an abundance mindset, which we will dive into more in later episodes on the podcast. It is so important for each of us to teach children, starting when they are young, how to manage their money wisely, because the consequences are small when they are at home. Once they become adults and move out on their own, the consequences are much larger. We will also talk more about this in later episodes on the podcast. Through my online business, Harmony Living, I provide resources to help you teach your teens. My goal is to help Latter-day Saint parents learn how to teach their teens to become wise stewards of their resources and create a legacy of financial self-reliance and live a debt-free life. Do you want your child to start learning this now? Do you want them to learn the skills necessary to manage money and have a plan for paying for higher education without spending all the time, energy, and money that I did? Start by downloading my free 20 Best Jobs for Latter-day Saint Teens download through the link in the show notes, and then continue to join me on the podcast to learn how to help your teens live a debt-free and abundant life. See you in the next episode.